Alright. Mega Man 3. It's the third game in the Mega Man franchise. What can I say about this game that nobody else has? Not a damn thing. The only thing I can give you is my opinion, just like everybody else does. The game originally released in September 28th of 1990 in Japan, then in November 28th of 1990 in the US, and then February 20th of 1992 in Europe. From my research, it seems like the development process was a little bit longer than Mega Man 2, but from some of the people working on it said they need a little bit more time of polish. Well, that's really obvious when you go to the stage selection screen. See that little mark right there? It's in every version of the game that I'm playing, from the original Mega Man 3 to the Anniversary Collection, and in the Legacy Collection. You would think they would fix it. No. Plus, at the beginning, there's no story at all. There's no story sequence whatsoever. You just pop into the game. So returning from the second one is the password system, able to help you continue your game where you left off. So just like the other two games, you can play it however you want or go by weakness order. Most of the time, obvious choice is Magnet Man using the Mega Buster, Hard Man using Magnet Missile, Top Man using Hard Knuckle, Shadow Man use Top Spin, Spark Man use Shadow Blade, Snake Man use Mega Buster, Gemini Man use Search Snake, and for the last boss, Needle Man use Gemini Laser. That's not the order I played it in. I skipped Spark Man, went to Gemini Man. So in other playthroughs of this game, I've started with Snake Man, Gemini Man, Needle Man, Magnet Man, Hard Man, Top Man, Shadow Man, and Spark Man. Reason for that is I always need the Rush Jet, which is a new item, to get through the in part of Spark Man. A new character is Protoman, Mega Man's long-lost brother, the very first robot ever created. He shows up in most of the stages to either help or test Mega Man in his justifications on defeating Dr. Wily, or at least that's what I like to think. Some new features are the new Slide, which helps out with dodging bosses that jump up in the air. New items are the Rush Coil, which helps you reach out of reach areas. The Rush Jet from Needleman, which helps you fly through the air, and it is super cheap, but awesome at the same time. And the last tool you get is Rush Marine. You get that from Shadow Man. Helps you through water stages. Yes, Gemini Man has a portion of the water stage in it. It helps out. And there is a Wily Stage that you have to go through with the Rush Marine. There are these little mystery tanks. They can be any item depending on the RNG. You can, in my case, as you play the Legacy Collection, you can either save or rewind to get different drops. So mostly I've used it for E-tanks. So they can drop small health, big health, little energy weapon health, big energy weapon health, E-tanks, extra lives. So completely randomized. And also E-tanks. You can collect up to 9 now. You're not limited to 4, which is pretty much a godsend. So after defeating the Robot Masters in Mega Man 3, in attempts to prolong the game, they introduced a new enemy called Doc Robot. Basically, 4 out of the 4 stages gets destroyed. The 4 that are left are Spark Man, Needle Man, Gemini Man, Shadow Man. You basically have to make it through these stages a little bit more redesigned because they have been destroyed somewhat. Yeah, it's fairly interesting to me. But you have to refight all the Robot Masters from Mega Man 2. Alright, in Spark Man you have Metal Man, which weakness is Magnet Missile. And then the last boss is Quick Man, which is Gemini Laser. In Needleman stage, you have Airman. His weakness is Spark Shot. And then Crash Man Hard Knuckle. In Gemini stage, it's Flash Man, Needle Cannon. And then Bubble Man, Shadow Blade. And for the final stage, it is Shadow Man, Woodman, which is also Needle Cannon, and then Heat Man, Top Spin. It's on to Brake Man, which he kind of looks like Protoman with a motorcycle helmet. But, whatever. Then it's off to face Dr. Wily through his 6 stages. His first stage, you start pretty much on the outside of his castle, move along, yada yada yada, and then it looks like you go through like the sewers, right, or his basement, hiding all those dirty secrets, and then you work your way back up, and you face off against this machine that I'm not even going to try to pronounce its name, but it basically spawns out turtles. All you have to use is the Shadow Blade on them. Then onto the second stage, which is a climb up with some platforms you have to jump kind of quick because they open up and drop Mega Man. Normally I have used a rush coil to get to the top of these platforms because it seems like they just open up way too fast for me, or I'm just that slow, I don't know. And it's a relatively short level. Have to use the rush jet a couple of times, and then you face off against the Yellow Devil. His weakness is Hard Knuckle, and that weapon is very slow, and you have to time it just right. He does the same kind of pattern going to the right side of the screen and going to the left side of the screen. He does have a new pattern where they break down into bouncing blocks, which makes it kind of entertaining and fun. Then off to the third level, which kind of looks to me like the last one. You go up, up, and then you get into the spot where you come up to these little guys that turn off the lights. And then you make it to face off against the Mega Man holograms. So you have 3 levels where they pop up, and only one of them's real. I've used the Mega Buster. I think that does a pretty good job. I've used the Search Snake. After we defeated the holograms, it's on to Wily Stage number 4, which yet again looks kind of like a sewer to me. And after you make it through, trying to refill all your energy, avoid the junk men throwing junk blocks at you, you're off to fight the refights with the Robot Masters, which is fairly straightforward. This is a staple after Mega Man 2 and stays in the franchise forever and forever. which, again, you can play it however you want, use their weaknesses, whatever, what have you. And they also drop health after they die. After that, you go on to another stage. Your first encounter with Dr. Wily. Sometimes I like to call him Dr. Willy. This stage starts off with 2 mystery tanks and 2 large weapon energy pickups. And then you drop down and face off against Dr. Wily's first form, which that weakness is Spark Shot. And the thing you're trying to hit is the little turret underneath of Dr. Wily. Some people like to call it something inappropriate, but whatever. After that's done, you're on to the second phase of Dr. Wily, which the weakness is Hard Knuckle. The way you get him with that is when the machine walks across and finally does a downward stomp to try to squash you if you're underneath them. But luckily you're outside of that, and you can hit him with this slow-moving Hard Knuckle. The easiest way to cheese this is to use the Rush Jet and just sit there and wail on him. After you beat that, Dr. Wily pops out, falls on the ground, starts begging for forgiveness, and then his head pops off. On to Wily Stage number 6, where you're greeted with 2 mystery tanks, an E-tank, a large health, for whatever reason, and an extra life. Which makes me think they tried to plant something else out, but whatever. And then it's on to Gamma. His weakness is Hard Knuckle, and you're supposed to jump up on that platform, use the Rush Coil, and just shoot the heck out of him until Dr. Wily pops down. And use the top spin. So, on that last part, there's a fist that comes out, basically a jumping platform for you to get up to the middle platform and then to the top platform. It comes out. He's also shooting some other beams and all that stuff. I can't remember if the fist kills you instantly. It probably does. It has spikes on it. I wouldn't be surprised if it does. But you have to jump up there, use the top spin to hit Dr. Wily. And if you run out of top spin energy, then you have to use the Search Snakes. Doesn't do as much damage, but it can get the job done. After you beat Dr. Wily, you've done it. Finally, yet again. So on to my opinions about this game. It took me about an hour and 55 minutes to beat, maybe 54 minutes. And that was me using rewind and save states on the Legacy Collection. I used rewind features to get different items from the mystery tanks, which, yes, can be condoned as cheating, but whatever. It is what it is. This is the only Mega Man game I owned as a kid. It has a lot of nostalgia with me. I love all the music. I feel like the music in it is a lot better. The backgrounds, they're a lot better in this one compared to the first one and second one, but there's a lot of backgrounds and assets they didn't use, which would have been awesome to see back in the day, which you can see in Mega Man 3 Revamped and other ROM hacks that improve the game. And another bad thing, you don't get the story unless you have the instruction manual. Then you get the full story. In Revamped, you actually see the story itself. So, I mean, this game, it's always going to sit high with me, and it's probably a really hated game. And another issue is top spin weapon. You can go through that energy real quick. I've ran out of it before. And you also take damage when you use it, which sucks. Yes, there could have been a lot of fixes. I wish there was a lot more polish, but you know, at the end of the day, it's still a pretty damn good game. I would say a very good sequel. And honestly, I would like to set this up to like an A tier or S tier. But I honestly can't. No matter how much I love this game, I can't put it at S tier. I can't even put it probably at A tier. Honestly, I want to. Really thinking about it, because I had a lot of fun playing the ROM hack versions of it. Like Mega Man 3 Revamped. I feel like that's one of the only ways to really play this game. Yes, that one's a little bit more challenging in some spots, frustrating, but it was new to me. I just wish they would have had more time to work on Mega Man 3 to polish it out a lot more than what they did. But they were such in a hurry to get it to market that a lot of things got left, which is sad. So, yep, it is B tier to me. I'd like to thank you for watching and have a good rest of your day. All right.